Conseil.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, April the 12th, the 136th Annual Council Meeting. Does anybody have anything to add to the agenda, or? Yes. Okay.
Yes, if it's, the council would approve it, I'd like to put on probably other business, I guess, maybe. Or you can decide, Mr. Chair, charging stations.
Okay.
Charging stations.
Charging stations.
Yeah. You would put that where, Mr. Chair?
Well, we have a decision to make on that, or for information?
No, it's
or?
just for information to be very
Well, we can put it under 15C.
Very good, thank you.
No.
Oh.
16.
16, very good. 16E?
E, 16E. Thank you. Okay. Can we have a motion to accept?
So moved to
approve
the agenda with the addition of the charging stations.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Before I forget, we have regrets from Councillor LeBlanc and Councillor Muse. Conflict of interest. Does anybody have a conflict of interest with any of the items on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go. First, next thing, I think we should have a moment of silence for one of our colleagues, Ken Langell. You all stand. Thank you. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is presentation, the Conseil développement économique à Nouvelle by Gwen LeBlanc. Your mic is on.
Good evening. I think in your package you have a copy of the survey that has been created. This survey has come about through the economic development plan that was created by le Conseil de développement économique de la Nouvelle-Écosse. We had about 80 people participate in the development of the economic development plan. And one of the priorities that was seen was the situation of housing needs in the Argyll region. So we drafted up a committee and put this survey together to reach the seniors of the Argyll region to find out what their housing needs are. Are they looking to downsize? Are they looking for assisted living, apartments, whatever it may be? I think we have it listed on the survey. It's about 28 questions long, but there's lots of information that's going to come about from this survey. Learning from the income that they have after their housing expenses are paid, so that there's lots of information that can be used. Currently, surveys have been dropped off at all the credit unions in the Argyll region. So the tellers will be asking the seniors, have you filled out the survey? giving the website information. There's a survey online through SurveyMonkey, which I think will be listed on the Municipality of Argyle site, the CDNE Facebook group and Municipality of Argyle Facebook group. Also, we'll be putting an ad in the Lobster Bay. The church bulletins, I've requested that they post the information for the next 3 weeks, not just for 1 week. And we'll also be visiting the seniors groups to help them to fill them out. We're asking the councillors if it's possible for them to help fill out these forms, asking even if you can reach about 15 community members that you know are having issues, so we can learn more about what's going on. From what I understand, you all have an iPad with data that you can use so that you can go with your internet and do the survey online. So that would be a great help. And you can do more than 15 if you'd like. You're more than welcome to. And if you know of any that need assistance, let me know. And we'll make sure to go and help them out to fill the survey as well. They're available in French and English language as well. After the surveys have been compiled, we're going to be doing focus groups so that we can gain more information, learn more of what the needs are. Some people I've spoken to, they want to stay at home, but they need help with lawn care, snow shoveling, and those items there. So we hope to get that information from that as well. After that, the idea is to compile the information, let contractors, entrepreneurs know the need is there for buildings, to house the seniors, how much, what communities, etc. So that will be a joint venture with the Municipality of Argyle as well. And can't wait to learn what the results are. Any questions?
Yes, Councillor Surratt.
Is it only for seniors, or could it be somebody, you were speaking about some people that maybe staying alone, home alone, and having a hard time to make a go at it because of lawns or whatever. So it could be somebody that could be handicapped, or could be 55 and retired.
We're looking
strictly 65. You know?
No, we're looking for 50 and up.
Oh,
because
sorry.
no, I never really mentioned that, but we're looking for 50 and up because we want to learn in the future, years to come, what's going on. So do you need this service now, or 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, or when? So that people can plan, or the contractors can plan with that.
I have a follow-up question,
Yes,
if you don't
go
mind, Mr. Chair. I saw in the news today that in Shelburne, there's a private housing for seniors, and he's having a hard time. He's only half capacity. He's half full.
Occupied?
Yeah, half. Thank you for the word. Half occupied. And I don't know if it was the pricing. I don't know if you've heard of that, of anything up there. The pricing was an issue. It seemed to be quite high.
Quite high, and I think it had to do also with where it is.
Oh, I get you.
It's not from what I understand, and I don't know all of the information, but transportation was an issue. Transportation to grocery stores, drug stores, and stuff like that. That I think there was an issue, but it's a good model from what I understand. Yes. It's a good model, maybe not at the right place.
Thank you, Gwen.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Albright?
Just wondering on a deadline, when would you like us to have this done?
Oh, a month and a half would be good. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? No? Thank you very much,
Okay,
Gwen.
thank you.
All right, next item, adoption of minutes. First one is the regular council of March the 8th, 2016. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. B, the Committee of the Whole meeting of March the 29th.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Business arising from the minutes. I think we have Municipal Administration Building and Hipson Bridge. Those two, you have an update, CAO?
Yep, yes, the Hipson Bridge is, what we will be doing is, as we said, we were going to be tackling that in the spring. We are spring now, we're gonna include that item in the budget deliberations, so they'll be included.
Oh, okay.
And essentially, at that point, we will undertake the work. Or get the engineers coming in as quickly as possible to do the work. The municipal building, we've completed all of our community surveys and our community meetings. There is a document that's being prepared at this time. It's about 90% complete. What we would like to do is bring that to you at the April Committee of the Whole meeting. And the report that we're planning to prepare for you will include the initial recommendation from council, which will, from staff about the condition of the building, so that will be like one report, it'll come to you. And the second will be the community engagement report that says, you know, this is what the community said, this is what we learned, this is how we, you know, these are the key areas that we have learned something around how we approach this project. After that, I think it will be up to council what it wishes to do. We can make a recommendation at that point to take, like, in terms of like next steps, and then we can, you know, that can be debated at the Committee of the Whole with council then having the ability to make a decision at the first meeting in May. That might be an option, or if it's ready to make a decision at the Committee of the Whole, it could do that as well. But the advantage of doing it at the Committee of the Whole is that you can have the discussion. Maybe you get a better understanding of what you want to do as a collective, and then you make a decision in May, which gives you some time to think about it. It's a big decision. So you've been doing this a long time, but still,
Yeah.
it'll be the first time you see the community input all in one document. So we hope to get that to you well in advance of that meeting. Meaning, you know, as early as this week,
Okay.
you could have that report to
okay.
you.
All right.
Okay.
Any questions? Yes, Councillor Donaldson?
It's not pertaining to this subject at all. It's just, I was gonna ask about last year's annual meeting, the minutes, but I realize now we passed them the next month. It used to be we passed it
Yes.
from year to year, but
Usually, yeah.
anyhow, me and Chris has had that discussion. So
Okay.
we're
Okay,
clear.
thank you. All right, next item, Warden's report. Not very long. Yes, actually, yesterday I attended the Lieutenant Governor's medal presentations in Lockport. We had two from Drumlin Heights in our municipality here. And today at the Clare High School. So we had two from Paronva. Gouchou and Suzanne d'Entremont, yeah. So it was interesting to see how involved these kids are. My gosh, it's great to see that. You wonder where they find the time to do everything and still have marks in the 90s, and you know, some of them have part-time jobs, and it's amazing. Councillors' report. Anybody have a report? Councillor Surratt?
Just something quickly, the waste park, we weren't able to have our meeting on Wednesday last week. We didn't have a quorum, but we'll have that probably first of next month. But just to let the council here know that we have formed a committee, and we're doing a 5-year plan on the waste park to see what what the expenditures could be, how we could expand, how we could do things better. Anyhow, so we're making a strategic plan for 5 years. We may be looking at consultants to help us in the process, because we work every day, we don't know everything about how everything works, and anyhow, we'll be asking Charlene, I'll probably get involved in seeing if there's grants available to get consultants in that, and anyhow, we'll keep you posted, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Albright?
I just want to mention, it's more of a PR thing, I think, more than anything. Our school has at Meadowfields in Yarmouth, we have our annual Heritage Fair every year. I just wanted to mention, I found it interesting this year, Councillor Danny Muse came in as a judge, but we had 2 projects about topics in the municipality of Argyll. There was a project about the Quinnen flood, and there was a project about the Tusket courthouse. So I just wanted to mention, even though it's a school in Yarmouth, our area is still being, but because we do have students whose parents grew up in this area, and they're going through the French immersion program or whatever. So I just wanted to bring that up, that there are topics from our municipality even in the schools in Yarmouth. Yeah.
Good, thank you. I missed that.
Next year. Don't
Huh?
worry. Don't worry. I'll get you next year.
I was busy. Yes, Deputy Warden?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that on April 4th, had a meeting concerning the Pumlico Point Trail Association. We had Laura Barkhouse, who works for the province of Nova Scotia, Michel Camus for COA, Felton d'Entremont, who's head of the Pumlico Point Trail Association, Charlene LeBlanc, who works for us here at the municipality, and myself, and we basically talked about putting in an application to ACOA for some federal funding to hopefully complete phase 2 of the trail. So it was a positive meeting. We have a lot of things and homework to do, but we have Laura Barkhouse who's going to help us out, fill out the application, and so I think we're on the right track. So hopefully we'll be able to get some federal funding from ACOA to complete that project. So thank you.
The support letter has gone out to Felton from here, from us, because we agreed to that at the last meeting.
And Felton wants to thank council for the letter of support. So.
Okay. Councillor Donaldson?
Yes, and I'd like to report that in late March, I think, I'm not sure the exact date, I went to the Union Nova Scotia Municipalities Rural Caucus meeting, and the morning agenda was primarily made up of rural internet and the lack of it, high speed, and it was very good. There was 3 presenters. There was a lot of discussion. I brought that information back, passed it on to Chris, like contact names. I understand that the WREN's very involved in this project, so hopefully within the next few months, everybody will get on the same page and can start pursuing this, and found it very informative. I didn't stay for the whole afternoon because it was agenda items that didn't interest us a lot, like forestry and whatnot, so. I spent the biggest part of the day, and it was very good.
Good, thank you. Okay, go on to staff report. You have some comments, Mr. CAO Muse?
Just a couple. One is on the first page, the council priorities, aquaculture, and there's no change there, just giving an update. Track and field, yesterday's regional meeting of council, the 3 councils unanimously made a recommendation to each of their individual councils to approve the go-ahead of the track and field project pending conditional on at least 50% funding from another level of government. So the presentation was done by myself, and I had indicated that the proportions ought to be, that our proportion of the project ought to be higher because it's located inside the municipality of Argyll, and that was not the idea that the town of Yarmouth or others had. They felt like it was more similar to the Mariner Center scenario, where it's a third, a third, a third. So that was, certainly, was well received by a lot of people there, and so And I think they, you know, they all appear to be very interested in the project. So that project will, you will see that in the capital, in your capital budget this year. We will be using our gas tax or as much of it as we can on this project. There might be some limitations depending on our partners and what funding they use. And there's also, there are sometimes restrictions as to how much federal funding can go towards a project. So if we get an ACOA grant or another grant, it might impact our ability to use gas tax. But the plan would be to use gas tax for that. And so our portion of that, I think I think initially we thought it was going to be 240, but it'll be less than that. I guess it will be a third of 500,000. Which my math I had to do quickly, 167. So it's a, you know, for what you get for that amount of money it's quite incredible because it's a $1.2 million project, and you know the presentation we had done there is look, we're going to treat this project, we're going to lead this project like we lead a project the way we do it, because we're not going to just we're going to wait till we get leveraging before we do the project. So it may or may not occur this year. It will depend on whether we can secure the other 50%. And for those of you who weren't there, the other comment was that we would look for a major corporate sponsor to be part of the plan. So it was well received, and so that's the update, because it was on the staff report. It says nothing significant to report, but it was written before yesterday's meeting. I think the others, the other one I would mention is the Wedgeport sewer. The engineers have been selected, and they'll be meeting with us on April 20th to get a sense of what this project looks like. And of course, at some point very quickly, we're going to have to engage with the community, just start to tell them, you know, what this project might look like, and you know, how we will approach that. And so we'll do that before we get too far into the engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we are with that project. And the green energy, we have been billed. So that means the turbines will be shipped at some point very soon.
Check it in the mail.
Well, our check is in the mail.
Yeah, ours.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that what we paid for is on its way. But there was it's a portion, it's a fraction of what of the total bill. So the windmill is not in the mail. It might be on a ship somewhere.
Blowing
I don't
in
know.
the wind.
Yeah. So that's the. I think that's probably the extent of which I would go into detail unless there were questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Just a comment, sorry, Mark, never pressed one. At the meeting yesterday, they mentioned about it was just a question, if the units could pay maybe 1 year and pass it on the next year, like put it in 2 years in their budget. But that was a council that asked that. It was not the actual council.
Oh, you're talking about the.
I'm sorry,
the track.
about the track and field.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So because we would be leading the project, what that would mean essentially is that we would have to pay more in order, like, so maybe the bills work out that it's over 2 years. That might be. But if we were able to do the work this year and our partners didn't want to do it over 1 year, they want to do it over 2, then we'd have to fund the difference and then wait for the second payment.
Could you use gas tax like that? No, to fund the other part, no.
No, we'd have to use the portion of gas tax that we would apply towards the project. The rest of it would come probably from from the operating reserve or from a capital reserve. I would suggest it would come from, probably not from the capital reserve, because it's a bit more complicated, and then once we get the money, then the money would be
Just an in and out, I suggest.
yeah, well, it's essentially we would be providing short-term
Right,
financing
Yeah.
in a way, but that would depend on when we actually have to pay the bills. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next item is appointment of auditors. Page 1, I'll have it there, and proposed motion. Unless you have any discussion or anything to.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Gwen, or
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next one's a tough one. Solicitor. You touching that one?
I'll make that motion. Council approve the firm Donovan Woodrow solicitors of the municipality for the fiscal year 2016-2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Despite the jocularity, I wish to affirm that I do not take it lightly. I do take it very seriously, and I thank you very much for the confidence.
Thank you. Report of auditors, we don't have, I don't think. Do you have anything to report on that?
No, we always include it in the annual meeting,
know.
and we always say we always defer it until when the work is actually done.
I think in the report, in Marcia's report, she mentions when they are expected to be here,
Yes, and
something, but other than that, no.
that is subject to change, but
Okay.
yes.
Remuneration resolution, councillor remuneration. It's one thing that we do also every year at the annual meeting.
I'd like to
Resolu-
move that, whereas municipal councillors are not directly compensated for home office expenses, and whereas municipal council may declare that up to 1/3 of councillors' remuneration may be treated as a non-taxable expense allowance. Therefore, be it resolved that 1/3 of all remuneration is paid to the warden, deputy warden, and members of municipal councils in the 2016-17 fiscal year shall be designated as a non-taxable expense allowance.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Appointment of officers. I think we do these as a group, or can we? Huh? Following list, do you want me to read them off, or?
You can or I will, it's up to you.
Okay, I'll read them off. The following is a list of officers which should be reviewed by council: the fire wards, chief, deputy chiefs for all 9 fire departments in municipality, serving the municipality through mutual aid or through mutual aid. Sheep valuers, Arnold Dion and Kevin LeBlanc. EMO coordinators, Anin Doucette. Building officials, Glenn Muse and John Sullivan. Development officers, Glenn and John Sullivan. And bylaw enforcement officers, Glenn Muse and John Sullivan also. And dog control, SPCA Nova Scotia. Councillor Donaldson, did you wish to?
Can I make a motion that we approve that list as presented for the fiscal year 2016-17?
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Membership to UNSM and FCM. Yeah, council. Council shall approve that the membership of both UNSM and FCM be renewed for 2016-17. And you have a proposed motion there.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. And that's other business and for decision. Next item is Mariner Center budget submission. Oh,
It's 16E.
the Mariner Center budget for 16-17. Did you wish to speak on that, CAO Muse, or?
Well, it's presented here, it's for your consideration and approval. What I would do is, you know, if there are any questions now, we can certainly entertain that now, but what we typically do is we don't approve budgets individually, we do it all as part of our budget deliberations. So,
Yes.
you know, we had the information, we don't want to keep the information from you or keep, you know, it's public
Okay.
information, so we want to make sure that you see it as early as possible. You know, I encourage you to take a look at this, and if you have any questions, if you want to meet with myself, or if you wanted to have a presentation done by somebody from the Mariner Center, they've always been very, very open to communicate with us on that. So anyway, I can do, what I will do before the budget deliberation is I'll do a qualitative review, like, in other words, just like an executive summary of this is my interpretation of what these numbers mean and what it means to you, etc. So I would recommend
Okay.
deferral at this time.
Deferral, no decisions tonight.
Not tonight.
Okay.
Can I just add one piece of information? Is that fine? I'd just like to add that you may not have typically seen this presented in this fashion, this budget. The reason why it was brought to you in this way is because in the agreement with the other partners is if the operating budget of the Mariner Center exceeds $100,000, it automatically has to come to each respective municipal council for approval before officially being approved. So this is in turn their official request for being that the operating deficit will exceed $100,000. And one of the biggest reasons for that is the heating fuel costs, which is now being adjusted for the lack or for the heat recovery project not going forward. So I just wanted to say that before for your information.
Okay. Thank you.
So just do you require, does the Mariner Center require something imminently? Okay, thank you.
No, okay.
Just want to be sure,
Yeah, yeah. Right.
based on what you just said, thanks.
Okay, and the next one is core funding request to YASTA partners. I think it's probably the same as last year.
It's a little lower.
Oh, yes, right.
Only because they didn't have they haven't applied for the same programs. The core funding is the same at 60,000, and they're saying it's an additional $6,250 to pay for our portion of 2 special projects. Again, this probably should be deferred into the budget deliberations,
Yes,
but
yeah.
this is within what my expectations would be. So I don't, I certainly don't have any concerns to raise at this time. So that's, but again, let's do it all at once.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, and we go on to correspondence, and for information, the first one is a WREN press release, attachment, 2 pages, you all had a chance to read that. And the 2015-16 March building permit comparisons, and the community hall capital project grant, the meeting notes. I heard it very well. I've talked to some of the people from the community that were there, and they're very happy with the way things were handled. And the UNSM letter to Minister Churchill. Another thing, yes, Councillor Donaldson.
On the community halls capital project grants, will we be fine tuning that policy before, what's the deadline's now the middle of May, right?
Yes.
Moved up an extra month, so we'll be dealing with that in our next meeting on if there's any changes to be made based on the feedback we got?
Yeah, we will have to aggressively bring that policy to your attention by the next meeting. At the very least, to give you the notice you need, because we can't bring the policy on the 12th and not give you the notice you need in order to pass it. So we'll aggressively go after the April 28th meeting. 26th.
26th, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Yesterday I was talking to Jason DeVoe, who's the EA for Colin Fraser, and he mentioned that Colin had presented himself to the town council, and wondering if we were interested in having him at a meeting here, so he can talk to us and we can ask questions and whatever. So, it's something that you want. It'll be, he said he couldn't do it at the regular council meeting because it conflicts with his work in Ottawa, but he could do it maybe at the committee of the whole meeting, end of April. Or
I think it would never hurt to have somebody, a member of parliament here.
he said just
never
needs
heard
to
of
be
it.
invited, and you know.
We should,
Okay.
it never
Yeah.
hurts.
Okay.
We should
Chris
bring
will
him
get
in
it.
on grants and-
Chris will get a hold of Jason and arrange something, either this month or next month, or, yeah,
Great idea.
okay. Next item was charging stations. Councillor Surratt, you asked to have that on the agenda.
Right, I guess where we had passed a motion that there was 3 charging stations to be installed, so I believe it was Sun Valley, one of those companies that had offered to our municipality 3 units. And we had passed a motion, and I was wondering just for an update for myself, I've only had a couple of people ask, okay, it was more for the public to see where we were at, if there was anything that our CAO or Chris could bring to the councillors. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, our understanding of what has happened is clearly, as soon as the motion was passed, we indicated Sun Valley that we were interested in three stations. We had indicated where, what locations, and since then there was a delay on their end, and there continues to be a delay on their end. And I think the reasons, to my best of my recollection, was there was a very high demand. It was quite a program. It was probably oversubscribed, but they have yet to come to us and give us any time frame as to when they would put them in. And at this point, I'm not sure if they're going to. So we're really not sure. So we can reach out to them again. Charlene was the contact for that. We can reach out to them again and see where it's at. I don't know if Mr. Fraughton has anything to add.
That was the reasoning why it was oversubscribed, and there was just not enough charging stations available for everyone at once. So Sean continues to try and get the information from them, which is proving to be a little difficult, but whenever we do find an update, we'll forward it.
Thank you very much. I just saw it.
Yeah.
So is there a possibility that it will in the future, or we don't know that for sure? We don't know at all?
No.
Okay.
There's a possibility based on the communication or lack thereof that it's not going to happen. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I'm not sure. I mean, you can always purchase them at full price. And,
Okay,
right. There's other ways to get there, but
Oh, yes, I know.
but based on that initiative,
I
it
don't
doesn't.
think we have to rush into it.
Oh, no.
No, but it's just
But,
the
yes, I know.
expectation was set, and it was.
Oh,
I
I
guess it
know.
was obviously very good because a lot of people picked up on it.
Yeah, that's a good point,
So-
good question. Yes,
So
Deputy Warden.
just to refresh my memory here, I guess that was last year, the program, was it only through the Sun Valley, or there was
Yeah.
no other companies that offered,
I don't recall
I don't
that there was
think-
another company. I mean, there's more than one company that provides those charging stations, but I'm not sure that.
Not at that price.
No, I mean, we paid for installation. I think that was the deal, right?
That's it.
We got the charging station for free, but I mean, the installation wasn't a small thing, but
no.
$1,400 a piece, I think, 16.
that's exactly right.
no.
Yeah.
Is there any other charging stations in the municipality? Does anybody have one?
I
Not in
believe,
ours, but there is one in the town of Yarmouth.
The town,
There is one in the town?
I had heard of it. There's a possibility of having one at Trout Point. I can't recall whether they put it in or not.
Oh, yeah, they were talking about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think,
Jim,
Mr. McLeod has electric car. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
yes.
If I could. Just to add on, like what Calvin was asking, I myself and a colleague had checked into something for our station or down at Tuscan Ford, and we checked with the MP for the area at the time last year, Greg Kerr, and if there was any grants or any money available, and there was none in grants, and we also checked 4 or 5 companies if they'd give us a kind of a half of the retail price or something like that, and there was no incentive at that time. This was last year.
Okay.
But when Colin Fraser comes, the question will be put.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Next item is financial request. We don't have any listed here probably until we get our new budget.
We'll have a ton after the 15th of April.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have them, we're just not
No, I
showing
know,
them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the deadline for grants is April 15th,
know, yeah,
so the residents can be reminded.
Yeah, and I guess I was thinking also about the community grants.
Yes.
I had one request here, and Chris said, give it to me, and I'll pile them up, and
Yeah.
then once we decide, we have to decide if we're gonna do it or how
Right.
much or whatever, so,
Yeah, and we've got a pile of requests already
Yes,
that
yeah.
are waiting.
yeah. You gotta go down early. Okay, anybody has a notice of motion that they want to put forward for a future meeting? If not, next thing is question period. Do you have any questions from the public? Okay,
I'm very ignorant about municipal politics, so please excuse me. My name is Shannon Kelly. I live here on Courthouse Road, my husband. If we wanted Courthouse Road seen to, as in repairs to the pavement, perhaps a sign at the entrance saying no exit, those types of things, is that handled by municipal or is that handled by Department of Highways?
it is a jurisdiction of the Department of Highways, but we get a lot of requests, and we could forward your request to, we can certainly do that.
Mhm.
Should I put it in writing perhaps?
Yes?
Do you prefer email or hard copy?
No preference. We'll give you the contact information and we'll make sure that gets put in the right place
All right.
quickly.
Okay. Good, thank you.
We have a
And,
we have a supporter for the road.
huh? Yeah,
Just so happens to be our road too, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
It's terrible.
Come to the right place.
yeah.
When you self-survey, and you do it of yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Citizens
yeah,
coming forward.
that's right.
yeah. it's-
You could probably get a petition.
I probably, I don't
Yeah.
think you need a petition, I think you can probably
Yeah.
get it by, people coming forward.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Okay, I guess next item is adjournment. Thank you.
I just want to make it very clear.